Okay, everyone, how you doing? Let me just get my iPad and the live stream going. We'll check out, make sure that we have audio this time. Let's take a quick peek here. So if you guys are joining me right now, you may have been with my other live stream where I failed to turn on my microphone. And you would think by now I would know to do that. So that teaches me a few things here. All right, so it teaches me one thing, that I need to talk to you guys and check what you guys are saying here before I just start rambling on. I felt like in the past I actually I was checking the feed or you guys' comments too much during my videos. So this video I was like, oh, I'm just going to talk and I'll look back at the very end. And of course, for 20 minutes I had no audio on my microphone. So if you guys could just let me know if the microphone is indeed working okay for you guys. And actually, I can just check it right now and just put the volume up here. Yay, we've got audio. That's great. Okay, so let me just take a quick peek here. And we'll make this large here. There we go. Okay, so Chai Stai, Michael W., and Vince Saigal. Thanks for joining us right now. So I'm just going to get started with this. I went through this whole rigmarole on the last video, and I failed. I absolutely failed. So number one, before I start doing these live streams, what I need to do is actually get a pre-flight checklist to make sure I have everything working, obviously. And like I was saying, I just need to check in on everyone's chat as we go along here. So Michael W. says, your production assistant got it right this time. Yeah, well, I fired the last one. And B. Thomas says it's all good. Okay, so if you guys can't see it, this is the Spitfire. It's an MK XIV, which is from Eflite Horizon Hobby. It has a lot of really cool features to it, a lot of scale features. It comes with safe and an AS3X receiver with it, which a lot of guys are like anti, stabilization receivers. I like the AS3X. The safe I could deal without, Safe is for the people that really need a lot of help when they're flying. Obviously, I'm past that point. But it is nice to know that if you really need some stable wings in a high wind or something like that, you could actually land this thing with safe on and be very, very careful not to damage your airplane, because, I mean, that's when we damage the airplanes, right? When we're taking off and landing. So I like the AS3X for that. It just takes out a lot of the crosswind and any torque roll, any of that type of stuff. But let's just take a quick peek at the airplane, take a look around here. So this is the Spitfire. It's got this awesome prop and the stacks coming out of the nose right here. The cannons on the wings. The really scale-looking pilot here, he's got the little oxygen mask on there. I don't know what this little extra window is right here. So if you guys know, let me know what that is. But just the paint and the little scale details really make this airplane stand out. We've got a little air intake down here at the bottom. We've got the scale retracts and also drop flaps. I'm going to show you guys that in just a moment. So it's actually kind of nice that I've already gone through this, because I'm not quite as nervous. I kept stumbling over my words during that first one that I failed to have the audio on. So it's probably a happy mistake. All right, the sound's good. All right, and hey, Ben Harbor, how you doing? Looks good, sounds good too. Okay, great. So thank you so much. I'm actually going to turn on the airplane real quick, and we'll get to hear my DX9. This is my new DX9, guys. I had to retire my DX8. I had dropped it probably about a year ago, and I had a lot of trouble just booting up. And if I needed to give the airplane trim in the air, it would maybe sometimes do it, and sometimes it wouldn't, and sometimes it would give me like a minute delay. So I'd go 3 clicks down, and about a minute later, it would go blip, blip, blip. I was like, wow, that was a long delay. So there's something definitely going on with my DX8. So DX9 is great. I love the voice features on it, and you'll hear some of that as we go along here. So with all of my models, guys, I always put a 3-position switch for the rate of the ailerons and the elevator. So elevator and rudder here. So let's see. So for elevator here,
mid rates, high rates.
So there's high rates,
mid rates,
mid rates,
low rates,
and low rates. And then for aileron, high rates,
mid rates, low rates.
And I have my lovely assistant telling you guys what we're doing here. Okay, let's just show you guys the retracts real quick, and the, hang on a second. Yeah, we'll show you guys the retracts here. Let me just take this up here. Let me go ahead and flip this over. And, you know, for a guy that doesn't have an airplane with retracts, I can just do this all day long, look. And I'll have to tell you guys, I actually maiden this airplane yesterday, but I was so nervous about maidening it, I actually didn't record it, so I'll have a remaiden at some point. Let's see here. Let's check out the drop flaps here. So if you guys can see from the top of the wing here, you don't see any flaps cut out or anything right here. So a drop flap is just a little panel that comes down right here and here. And let's just show you that real quick. So flaps.
Take off flaps.
Take off flaps, if you guys could hear her talking.
Landing flaps.
Landing flaps. Isn't that cool?
Take off flaps.
Really, really cool.
Flaps up.
And let's see, let me see my rudder here. You can see the rudder and the tail wheel. It has really nice ground handling characteristics as far as I can tell. So I was at basically the Irvine field that you guys have seen so many of my maiden flights at. I was there, and the field is being developed for commercial property, and the far side of the property, there's already a giant set of office buildings that have already been built, and they're starting on our side now, which just means that that field's going to be going away. But anyway, I was there, and the little weedy, grassy things are about a foot high or so, so there was a little bit of a takeoff area, and there's actually a dirt road that comes along there. So I took off from the little flat area, and to land, I actually had to do a downwind landing and down the road, and then I knew that if I went a little bit long, that it was just going to get into that fluffy, weedy stuff over there on the side. So, so it handled really, really nice, even with the downwind landing. I actually just watched a couple videos on how better landing techniques. There's one guy, his name is In the Tube Deep, which is in the tube deep with no spaces between it, and he has a great. They were doing a landing symposium down in one of the San Diego fields there, and it was a great video on how to land. Once you line up, basically, you only use the ailerons to level the wings, not for turning, and you basically use the rudder for keeping your direction, and keeping throttle on until you're basically above the runway. So yeah, a lot of guys chop the throttle right before they get on the runway. I'm very, very guilty of that. So I learned a lot of stuff from his video. So if you guys check out his channel, he's an up and coming channel. In the Tube Deep, he's a surfer, so that's why it's In the Tube Deep. Really, really nice though. So like I said, this is just bind and fly. You literally take it out of the box and fly it. This one I got already built up because it is used. So I sold a bunch of planes, like 5 planes, at a garage sale that we just had. And one of the guys, he traded me this for my Hobby King Cloud Surfer plus a bunch of other stuff. But I'm getting it set up for him for long-range FPV. See, he really wants to do some long-range FPV. And I know this guy from locally because I bought airplanes from him very early on in my airplane career. And it was kind of nice to reconnect with him. And he loves these scale warbirds. He probably has like 3 of everything, which is, I have no clue how I was able to keep so many airplanes. I thought my airplane habit was bad. His is beyond insanity. It's pretty cool. But I was the lucky recipient of this airplane, you know. So I've seen all the reviews that guys have put on about this airplane. It flies well, it lands well. It's just everything about this airplane is really friendly. So I think even to beginners, I mean, it won't take a hard hit or anything like that, but it is a great little airplane. The $17 prop, yeah, yeah, you heard me right. $17 for this airplane's prop here. It is a cool airplane prop. It is 5-bladed, but I don't see why that prop should be any more than $5, but it is a specialized prop. They probably don't make many of them. So I looked on Amazon, it was $17. You could also buy it for $14 with $2.99 shipping from eBay. So because I would get it in 1 or 2 days, I went ahead and got it from Amazon. And I got another prop because I know how hard I am on props and with airplanes that have scale retracts and all that stuff. So just to be proactive, I would get one and just put it in my bag if I go to fly this thing. So this is going to be one of those airplanes that's just going to be a once in a while type of airplane. Like I wanted to get down to the Huntington Beach airfield down there. I forget what they call it, something park. Ben would probably help me out with that because he goes there all the time. Fairfield Park, yeah. I think this would be a great airplane for there, and I've never been there before, so maybe I can get together with Michael and maybe Ben, and also, well, my buddy Ozzy, I don't know if he's actually moved yet, but there's, and also Joel. Joel is the guy he's invited me down there to fly, and it would be really nice to fly this thing down there. It'd be a great airplane to do it with. I am running 4S on this airplane, not the 3S that's recommended. I always feel that airplanes on 3S seem like they're underpowered, especially after you experience 4S. The electronics on here are set up for 4S, so it's just fine. I think you should probably just watch your ESC temperatures if you're really hot dogging it or something like that. I would maybe fly it really hard for about a minute and then land it and really check your ESC temperatures. You don't want to go into thermal shutdown. In that type of case, if you're not really worried about the scale details, you can always run the ESC on the outside of the airplane. That will give it a lot more cooling if you're going to be running it on 4S. That type of stuff I don't mind doing at all. Let's see, I have a couple of notes here. It has an 850 kV motor, so nice low torque, a high torque motor, low speed. So when you put the 4S in there, it gives you the low torque and the speed, which is pretty cool, and at lower amperage. 40 amp ESC. I haven't yet to do a amp draw test on this, but I should. I have the little thing over there to do it. So in the future video, I might be able to do that. But like I said, this airplane flew really, really great. I'm sorry I didn't record it. I was just a little bit nervous, and I had actually done a live stream earlier that morning, so I didn't want to overload you guys with too much content. But I can promise you, you probably will never see this at Kite Hill because I think it's a little bit of a long lander. So unless I've got like perfect wind going away from the hill so that I can fly up 4, which means that I'm landing uphill. That's probably about the only time, maybe in the morning time, that I would ever fly this airplane. If we get several mornings in a row that are the same type of wind, then I'll be able to do this. Either zero wind or a little bit of headwind going into the hill. Landing this thing down 22, which is the bathroom side of it, which has the hill, which you've got to kind of dog leg it around the bathroom and then put it down and then try not to roll off the end of the runway as you're going downhill. It's really tough, and it's such a beautiful airplane. I don't want to damage it. So I'm sure you guys can appreciate that. Okay, so let's just talk about the Slowpoke for just a minute. I know you guys are here for the Spitfire, but a lot of guys were asking me about the crash I had at the end of my last video. Sure enough, I filmed the video, I flew another airplane, and I went to fly this again, and sure enough, on my last final approach, I actually hit one of the only 2 trees that are at Kite Hill. So, and I'll look back at your chat in just a moment. So, the thing survived really well. The only damage is this little bit of crinkling right up here, but the foam is so dense up here, it actually took the hit really well. The motor mount didn't break either. I don't know what kind of motor mount they have in there. It looks like it's looks like it's a fairly thick piece of basswood that the motor mount is actually attached to, and so the whole front of this took the brunt of it. The prop shaft did not get bent, which is really nice. I have some of these bites here from a different crash into the pylons there at Kite Hill, but just some really minor rash right here. I should probably start to tape the front edge of this wing with 3M packing tape like I do with all my airplanes. But the thing survived really well. Broken prop, and I replaced the prop with a 12.6 instead of a 12.8. The 12.8 is stock, and since I'm going 4S on this, I went ahead and propped this down to 12.6. Now, when my buddy Scott was flying this airplane for me during the video, he's an acrobatic pilot, so he pulses the throttle a lot. So we actually hit thermal shutdown on the ESC in here. So keep that in mind. If you go to 4S, you do need to prop this airplane down. But I absolutely love this airplane. It is so fun to take off and land with. When you have an airplane with landing gear, you just want to take off and land all the time, and that's what I like to do. I like to practice my skills. So, following that video I just watched about, how to land, I think I'll have a little bit more skill behind my landings here. So other than that, the Slowpoke, I can highly recommend it. It's a pretty inexpensive plane. It's got these giant wings, and the wings are just so darn thick. Sometimes you can't tell from the videos, but that wing is just horribly thick. Anyway, like my head, like me doing the live stream just a little bit ago. So if you guys are here and you weren't joining me with my last live stream that I did a few minutes before this one, I did the entire thing with no audio, so that was pretty funny. Let's take a quick peek at your comments here. Oh, my TV went into sleep mode. Hang on a second. I had a documentary going on about the Spitfire. That's so funny. I was supposed to have that playing in the background, but I didn't. All right, so let's take a quick peek at your comments. Oh, it's also called Split Flaps. Thanks, Ben. Yay, love the sound, love the Spitfire. Chai Stice, that was Scott Thompson saying that. Hi, Scott, how you doing? Chai Sty said that was interesting. Ben Harbor says the term for the flaps, the drop flaps, are also called split flaps. I didn't know that. Chai Sty, in the tube deep and troublemaker. That's so funny. That's so funny. Cool, guys. Scott Thompson, I want one. Can you still buy them? I believe you still can buy this one. It is a few years old, but I see them on Amazon. I think they're about $260 with the AS3X, AS3X receiver installed in it. And by the way, guys, I don't know if you guys know this, but my DX9 here is new. My DX8, and stop me if I just told you guys this. I can't remember if I said it in the last video or not. But my DX8 was malfunctioning. It takes a long time for it to boot up, and sometimes when I'm flying and I'm in the air, I give the airplane trim. It doesn't give it trim, or it takes like about a minute for the trim to register. So I go click, 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 and about 30 seconds to a minute later, it goes beep, 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 or sometimes it doesn't do it at all. So I decided, I found this one used on RC groups and through a friend of mine, and it really is nice. I love the voice alert on there. It's pretty amazing. Yes, Ben Harbor, Fairview Park, Costa Mesa. That's a perfect airplane for that field. You'll be right at home. I'm longing for having a big runway to actually let the airplane fly, and I can fly it down to the ground and actually let it run out a little bit instead of always being nervous to hit the sides of the runway. I tell you, I learned at Kite Hill, but now that I've learned at Kite Hill, I can pretty much land my airplanes anywhere I really want, so that's pretty cool. Michael W. Would be really cool to fly that along with my Durafly Spitfire MK XIV formation flying. Let's do it, Michael. We've always talked about getting together and flying. Let's make a date to do that. Actually, this week I work part-time for a doctor. He's actually on vacation until the end of this month. So if you want to message me, I can give you my phone number, or just message me through Facebook here. Facebook or through YouTube. You can send me a message through YouTube. Scott Thompson says, looks really good, thanks. And Mindless FPV, how you guys doing? How are you doing? Sorry. All right, yeah. Michael W. To give the landing gear more scale look, you can program one to go slightly earlier than the other. Oh, one slower, yeah. If I have an extra channel, I could probably do that. I'm probably not going to do that just to keep things, uncomplicated. Michael W. says, I'm heading out of town for a week. Yeah, we're actually thinking about for this Memorial Day weekend to get out somewhere, but everything is very booked and everything is very expensive, so we may just hang around this area. So, but anyway, guys, thank you for joining my channel. As always, I really appreciate it. If you guys like my content, please share it. I'm trying to grow the channel as much as I can. I'm going to have merchandise coming pretty soon, and that's in the works. I super appreciate all you guys joining me live here, and if you guys aren't viewing this live, go ahead and leave any comments or questions down in the comment section down below. And I think I'm going to call it right now, and we'll talk to you guys later. I appreciate all you guys being here. We'll see you later on the next one. Bye.